Hey guys, it's Ashley and Happy New Year. I'm so freaking excited for 2020. I've been waiting for 2019 to be over for literally like 5 months now. I don't know, sometime in like August, September, I was just done and I needed the year to be over, and now that 2020 is upon us, I'm so excited to just start all of the things that I have been putting off for a really long time now and to get back into the groove of just being creative and having a lot of fun with what I am passionate about. So today I am coming at you with a January TBR, or my reading plans for January. Hope you guys enjoy. So I talked about in my last video how my goal this year is going to be to read 50 books. I've never gotten above my 40 book goal up until this past year, 2019. Surprisingly, somehow I was so unmotivated to do everything else, but I somehow managed to make my reading goal. Go figure that one. So I came up with this game plan. I'm gonna try to read 5 books a month. That'll leave me with 60 books, which means I have a 10 books worth of wiggle room to move around and to not read or to read more and that kind of thing. Anyways, without further ado, let me talk about the 5 books that I am planning on reading in January. They're also subject to change based on my mood and my decisions on what I'm reading during the month and how quickly I'm getting through books and what I want to read next. So please take all of these decisions that I'm making today in this video with a grain of salt, because who knows what is going to happen in the future. So the first 2 books that I want to talk about were books that I mentioned in my anticipated 2020 releases video, because they are both coming out in January and I'm very excited for them, and I'm going to make myself pick them up as soon as they come out. So they're going to go on this list today. The first of which is The Hand on the Wall by Maureen Johnson, which is the 3rd book in the Truly Devious trilogy. Y'all know how much I love this trilogy. I am so ready for the finale. You don't even know. It's really good. You guys have heard me rave about this on my channel before. If you haven't picked it up, I do highly recommend. I have heard one criticism about it, and that is that most people who read thrillers like it to have a complete conclusion within the one book that you're reading. Most thrillers are standalone books, and so you like to have a solid beginning, middle, and end, while Truly Devious is a thriller mystery series, so you don't get that complete finish after the first book. You have to get to the second book to have some of the things wrapped up. So I will put that out there. If you are a thriller reader who enjoys knowing exactly what has happened, maybe either don't pick this up or go into it with an open mind knowing that you'll have to read the second one. But either way, they're really good, and I love the characters and I love the setting. The setting like makes the book for me. It gives it that ambiance and that mysterious feel. So yeah, and the second book that is coming out this month that I am really excited to read is Infinity Sun by Adam Silvera. This one is another one that I talked about in my releases video that went up about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I'm extremely excited for this because it's Adam Silvera's first fantasy. The story, from what I've gathered and from what I told you guys in that video, is about 2 brothers and this sort of secret society order sort of thing that is in this world that we're living in. One of the brothers really wants in and the other one doesn't want anything to do with it, and it turns out the brother who doesn't want anything to do with it ends up manifesting the powers that could get him into it, and so then there's this sort of conflict between the brothers. I'm really excited because A, it's from a prominent author who is popular on BookTube, and B, it's his first fantasy book, and C, brotherly relationships. I'm just very ready. I'm kind of like scared because a lot of his books that he's written have been like very sad books. And so I don't really want to go into the first month of the year like crying if this is a really sad fantasy book, but at the same time, I'm just really excited to read it because I know a lot of other people are excited, which is getting me hyped up to read it. So anyway, I'm gonna end up getting to it whether it makes me cry or not. We'll have to find out eventually. Might as well do it now. Which is never really my motto for anything that I do in life. Most of the time I just push it until I can't push it off anymore, but new year, new me, or at least an attempt at a new me. I have bangs now, I'm new. Just go with it. So the next 3 books I'm going to share with you, I do have right here next to me. The first book that I'm going to show you is actually the sequel to the book that I just finished, and that is Starsight by Brandon Sanderson, which is book 2 in the Skyward series, or however long the series is going to be. I didn't do any research, clearly. I didn't plan well for this video, but when do I ever? Skyward, the first book in the series, which is that cover right there, if you can see it without the glare, was really good. I talked about it in my book awards video that if you've watched, you already know my feelings on. It was so good. I have finished it since then, since I filmed that video. It was just as good as I thought it was going to be, so it definitely deserved the place that it got in that video, despite me not having finished it in that video. I'm really excited to get to this book because the last one didn't leave off on a cliffhanger per se, but it just left you wanting to know what's going to happen more than I thought that it would. Basically, in the end, a bunch of things were revealed to you about why they are living on this planet and why this alien species called the Krell is attacking them all the time. And it's just kind of like this big realization that you've been hoping and hoping and hoping would come in the first book, and it finally did. And now that it did, I want to know what's going to happen. So that's why this is on this list, and I'm probably going to read it as soon as possible. This will probably be the first book that I pick up this month. For those of you who don't know, Skyward is one of Brandon Sanderson's YA series. So Brandon Sanderson is obviously a notable fantasy author, and I'm very glad that I started with this of his work because it's not difficult to read. It's super easy, it's fun, it's funny, and it really makes me want to read more because I love his writing style. So let me share what this is about. So basically in this series, we follow this girl named Spencer, who is this lady right here. She has always wanted to be a pilot for as long as she can remember, and she's always wanted to live up to her father, who was a very, very notable pilot in this sort of world. Basically, everybody is living on this planet called Detritus. Like I was saying, the aliens called the Krell, they keep coming in, and then the pilots have to fight them off to stop them from destroying the planet, if that makes sense. So anyway, she's wanted to be a pilot. That's where I was going with it. And that's all I knew going into the book. All I knew was that she was just a girl and she wanted to be a pilot, and I was like, hey, that's good enough for me. Let's read about it. But there's another layer to this story, and that is the fact that her father, in one of the biggest battles of history, actually fled and left and was branded as a coward. So now this girl has grown up all her life as the coward's daughter, and she faces a lot of struggles trying to get around that, trying to prove to everybody that she's not her father, even though she's wanted to live up to his legacy her whole life. Yeah, there was great character development in the story. There was great setting. Everything was explained in thorough detail and in true science fiction fashion. If you are not used to science fiction and reading about aerodynamics and space flight and things like that, you might have to reread some of the passages to kind of understand exactly what is happening, especially in the battles. But if you like that kind of stuff, it's really, really, really good. It's a great book, and I was not expecting to like it as much as I did. So definitely hop on it if you haven't. I'm very excited for this one. I need to know what's gonna happen. I'm also gonna have a book talk up for Skyward at some point this month, so keep an eye out for that if you wanna know more. The next book that I am planning on picking up is one that you guys are probably not going to expect at all from me, and that's because I've been actually wanting to buddy read this with my mom for a couple of months now. That book is Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste Ng. Now, I really don't know anything about this book other than that it got rave reviews from a lot of people on YouTube. A lot of people really loved this book, and that's why I've been wanting to pick it up, to be honest with you. I also know that it's going to be made into a television series, I believe on Hulu, and I know that Kerry Washington is in it, and I love her, so I'm ready. The only thing that I know about this story is that it takes place in these suburbs, and you follow two different women who are very different from one another, and that's it. That's all I know, and that's really all that I want to know. Anyway, it's supposed to be really good. I've heard really good things about it. It's being made into a TV show, for God's sakes, which means it's gotta be good, and people have really loved it enough to get it that far. So that's really the only reason that I have of putting it on this list. My mom has been annoying me constantly to start reading this because she doesn't understand why I asked her to and then never started. So I'm gonna try to get to it this month. I'm gonna force her to start reading it, and maybe we'll talk about it together on my channel. I don't know. That'll be up to her to decide if she wants to do that and put herself through that. So the final book that I have on my January TBR is a reread, and it's one that's about time to happen. And that is A Conjuring of Light by Victoria Schwab, or V.E. Schwab. For those of you who have been with me since the early days when I first discovered A Darker Shade of Magic and read and binged the series completely, you'll know that I never ever put up a book talk for this book. I never put up a review. I never continued with my book talk series that I did for this series. And as it didn't happen with a lot of other finales to series, because for some reason, when I get to the finale of a series, the final book in a series, I fly through it and I have no desire to take notes whatsoever. So this time around, I'm going to reread this book since I spent December rereading A Gathering of Shadows, and I reread A Darker Shade of Magic back in, I think, July, the end of July, for Booktubeathon. It's about time I finish this one. So I'm gonna reread it, gonna take some notes, gonna finally make a book talk for it, and then I'll feel complete again. I'm not going to spend a bunch of time trying to explain what this book is about, because if you've been on my channel for long enough, you've already heard enough about it. It's really good. I will leave the first book talk that I made linked down below, so you can watch it if you're interested. I'm gonna reread this baby, I'm gonna make a video on it, and I'm finally gonna do my due diligence. Gonna do my due diligence. And so everybody, that is it for my January reading plans. Let me know down below any of your reading plans for January, whether you're reading 1, 3, 5, 12 books, it doesn't matter. Just talk to me down below about your plans. I'm really excited for 2020, as I already mentioned earlier, and I really hope that you guys are too. I created some baseline plans that I'm going to try to stick to as best as I can this coming year. If you can't already tell, I've tried my best to upload on every Friday the past few weeks, which I think I've been doing pretty well with, so thumbs up for that. I'm gonna try to keep up with that, as well as making wrap-ups and TBRs this year, and whatever else comes in between is up to me, but those are the two base guidelines I am sticking to this year, and I really hope that they work. So I think that is going to be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great day, Happy New Year, and I will catch you later. Goodbye!